All right, so I have an assignment. I'm getting ready to do a workshop, and one of the things I have to help the client figure out is their buyer personas. And so the assignment is we're going to go into a workshop. We're going to do a bunch of stuff, but one of the things we're going to do is create a help them understand buyer personas. So I think how I'm going to approach it. This is how I've done it in the past. Is we don't start with personas, right? We don't start with the audience we're talking about. We don't say like what like one way to do it might be, all right, list all of the your audience members. List the kinds of people who buy the product, let's say. You might have like, oh, here's this kind of person. He's the, CEO entrepreneur or whatever. And then you have this other person who's like the manager of operations or whatever. But then all you're doing is you're saying, "Hey, tell me your personas and I'll write them down, client, so we can, you know, and then I'll give them back to you." But and there's certain value in that, we'll organize it and everything. But if we really want to start fresh, one of the best things you can do is talk about the product itself, right? And here's what I mean. You talk about what you do for people and what the product does for people. And so in general, you don't talk about like you don't have any particular buyer in mind. You just talk about what we do in general. By the way, if you're watching and we have questions, put them in the chat and we'll deal with them. I'll glance at it before we're done talking. So, or afterward, I'll check my YouTube channel and I'll try to answer the question. But what you do is you talk about the product or you talk about the service or you talk about the company and you say, okay, who let's say you have a company, right? And you're an accountant. So, what do you do for people? Like, we do this, we provide this, fast service, whatever. So, you list all the things that you do, right? And it's all about you. It's not like we provide freedom. You don't do that yet. Start with just like what are the attributes of the product? If it's a car, it's like it has anti-lock brakes, it has power steering, it has, right? If it's a company, we do, we give, we provide, whatever. And start the sentence with we or, whatever your product or company provides. Once you've done that and you've gotten it all out of your system, you've written down everything. Maybe you've written it down twice, right? You've written it down in different ways, whatever. You're just brainstorming everything. Get that onto like let's say you're using sticky notes. Get all those onto a whiteboard at the very bottom of the whiteboard, the bottom third of the whiteboard. Then you say, okay, now let's take each one of those things and say, what does it do for a person? And so if it's a car with anti-lock brakes, you could say, you put it in terms of the person and you say, how do I turn that into a benefit for them? All right, it helps me stop faster, right? And that's a benefit. It helps instead of we give you anti-lock brakes, instead of our car has anti-lock brakes, we say, all right, why does it matter to you? It helps you stop faster. You could even say if you know enough about them, you can go even deeper and say, it'll if you know that they like a particular reason they want to stop faster, like um, maybe they're worried about getting rear-ending someone on the freeway or something, right? You do your audience research and you might find that out. You might know that, and so you can say, okay, well, that's a worry they have, and so it'll help you, avoid rear end collisions. From well, you might get rear-ended, but anyway, the point is that you're applying that to them. Like, why do they care about it? How does it help them? Right. So you go from attributes about us, the car has anti-lock brakes, we provide fast service, to you can stop faster. You can, fast service might help you get into your weekend faster, if you're waiting for the vendor, right? We help you get to your weekend faster, to your family time faster, right? So if you know your audience, then you can know these things. So you list out, you start from the top, the bottom. You say, here are all the attributes about what we're selling, and then here's why it matters. Okay, now we're at the step where you can say, all right, well then who does that matter to? So we provide a unique service, right? This is what's cool about us, um, that we can provide, that we can help them do. Who needs that? Who cares about that? And so now you're talking about, okay, instead of saying like who's our target audience, you start from who gets the most value from us. So now you can think about those people that you serve. And now you can think about who gets the most value from us. And now you have a list of, you can list the types of people that matters to, and you can create your personas from there. And then all you do is once you have those 1 to 3 personas identified, then you can go and talk about, the different things, and I'll go over these briefly because they're part of the buyer persona. So, you map out their demographics. So you say this person is a female, makes, household income of this, whatever, and you're listing all these things, age range, college education, whatever, right? And you're listing all these things because demographics, they're very impersonal, they're very general, but they help you advertise. It's the language of advertising. So if you want to go out and buy advertising, you have to know your demographics so that you can match up your audience with the media buy that you're going to buy. You want to advertise in a magazine, you want to go on LinkedIn and advertise. The demographics tell you just about the people in generalities. All right, psychographics. This is like how they think. Like what's our audience, they're businessmen, let's say, between 35 and 45 years old. How do they think? How does this audience think? Oh, they're more technical than your average person. Okay, so we talk to them differently, right? If you know they're more technical. You talk about their values, like what do they care about? Are they family people? Do they if they're family guys, you're helping them get closer to their family by providing fast service so they can get into their weekend faster, right? Like we just said. What are their pain points? Like what are their problems? We only really need to solve one problem. So if we understand that one pain point, we're good. If there are two or three pain points we can solve, then that gives us three separate arguments we can make throughout our advertising campaign. We could actually have three campaigns. First quarter, you deal with one problem. Second quarter, you deal with another problem, and you can actually lay out a campaign that way. And what are the needs that the brand can meet? So that's basically buyer personas, and the buyer personas help you know how to talk to people because it helps you to understand what is it you're selling, who is it for, and why does it matter to them? The value. Why does it matter to them? All right, so that's been buyer personas. Pretty soon we're gonna talk about customer journey mapping in just a second. But thanks for joining me. Let's see if we had anybody ask any questions, and it doesn't look like it. So we'll see you in a minute.